Tell me about the first 90 days in your business.
The first 90 days in the business, my wife and I, we said, what's something that we can do we're passionate about? We said, let's create, this is 2007. We said, let's create a blog. Back then, it's not now. Like we had heard that maybe somebody had made money one day somehow. We're
On
not
a blog.
sure. Yeah, so it was like
This is the world pre-WordPress.
Yes, this is very early days. Yeah, we started on MySpace. Like that's, like Facebook was not there.
Yes. Started where?
MySpace, yeah, you know, I'm older than I look out here, right?
Don't repeat that.
So this is pre-Facebook, but we said, what's something we're passionate about? And we said relationships. We said, what's something that people will talk about? Because even though we could create the content, I can write, but I'm not like, writers, I say, like, writers write even if no one's reading.
It's a true story.
If I'm writing, someone has to be reading this stuff, else I'm going to stop writing.
Yes, sir.
So we said what's something that people are passionate about, they want to talk about. We said relationships. Then we drilled down and niche down relationships in the African-American community, how we viewed marriage, and how others outside of our community viewed our marriages. So we started a website in the first 90 days, looked like me telling my wife, Ronnie, I don't know what's going to happen with this, but let's create it as if it's going to become a real business. So that when it does, and if it does become a real business, we don't have to backtrack and set the foundation and do everything different. So when we got the domain, we got the real domain, we got the hosting, we got the real, web hosting for it. Like everything that we did, we acted as if one day it would take off so that everything was already in position, even though we didn't know whether it would work or not. And what it looked like in the beginning was, me and her just writing, maybe 1 or 2 articles a week. And then as, traction grew and more people came, that went from, 2 articles a week to 3 articles a week to 5. And then what I love is that it built community. And I love community. As we built community, people started to come in and then they started to ask us, can I write an article for you? And literally like that first 90 days just looked at us like trying to get the foundation down. And what I tell people all the time, a lot of people can't get started in that first 90 days because they're stuck in perfectionist mode.
That's right.
And I tell like if you put them against perfectionists, I can be the perfectionist any day of the week.
Yes, sir.
Because things will never be perfect.
Yes, sir.
And what I've learned, I call it LAO. No matter what you do, you have to launch it, you have to analyze it, you have to optimize it. And
Launch,
analyze, optimize.
I like that.
And it doesn't matter who you are and what size and what scale. So what happens is in that first 90 days, while I have the site out, I have an ugly logo, I have an ugly website. I don't even like to show it to people anymore. But the stuff is hard to look at now, but I got it to market. I launched it. Then I was able to analyze it and say, okay, are people reading this? Are they engaging with this content? What are the articles that they leave comments on? What's the ones that they scroll right by? And then I can optimize it and go make more content like that. I can optimize it. And, we ended up making 3-4 variations of the website, 3-4 variations of the logo. And meanwhile, while I'm doing all of that, there's somebody that's still stuck on trying to get the perfect logo, trying to get the first perfect article. And that perfectionism never happens. And it hinders too many entrepreneurs from really growing to the stage that they should.
I wonder, do you think people are perfectionists, or do you think they just use that as like a clutch to just go, I need it to be perfect, so until it's perfect, I'm not going to pull the trigger, knowing full well that perfectionism as a state just doesn't exist? What do you think?
That's good. Probably what it boils down to, I never thought about it like that. Probably what it boiled down to is fear.
That's it.
Because behind that perfectionism, a lot of time is fear of rejection.
And judgment.
Yes. Of what happens if I put it out there and nobody reads it? What happens if I create the product and nobody buys it?
You said something which is so profound. You said, if I were to look back at that, it would be embarrassing.
Yes.
As you said it, I vividly pictured logos of my own companies and went, yeah, I can't believe we had a lion on fire.
And none of the animal rights people came after you.
I'm sure Simba was like, what are you doing? But the point is, you were honest with where you were.
Yes.
And you showed up with the phase you were at and the best you were at that phase. I just want to, you need to help me with the mindset of this. So your first iteration, you're at this business, you're going. There aren't yet the signs that this thing can be a commercial success. You're not getting the revenues. But you've got this article that you're writing, and you're going from one paragraph to the next paragraph. Because this is literally where entrepreneurs get stuck. I've got to write this article, but the dream is to build this media business. And often can't connect the article and one paragraph to the next paragraph with this media empire they're trying to build. How did you disconnect from the stress of building this really big thing to just focus on the detail of writing this article in this moment?
What we looked for oftentimes was confirmation. In confirmation, I think sometimes, especially when we starting out, we're looking for the wrong confirmation, meaning that the confirmation has to mean I sold 100,000 the first month or whatever it was. The confirmation for me might have been, hey, 5 people commented on this article.
Wow.
Somebody said this article changed the way they're going to talk to their husband.
It's good.
Somebody else said, hey, you know, I love this and I'm going to share it with a friend. Like those levels of confirmation was enough to keep just moving. Because at the same time as we're doing this, I had a demanding 9-to-5. As I said, run the IT department. My wife had a demanding 9-to-5 as a project manager for IBM. We had 4 small kids under the age of 11. I had an hour and a half commute to and from work each day. So as we're coming home, when I'm getting home, she's already stressed out from work. From the kids. She's had them all leave. It's already dinner time. We go from dinner time to bath time to bedtime. And I can't start building the business till 9, 10 o'clock at night until 1, 2 in the morning. So to do that, right, it's not always going to be like, hey, every action I take has a direct result into the bank account. But it's small signals. And those signals were, we could see impact. And it wasn't, you know, I was about to get divorced. We didn't get divorced because I read this one article. But again, it was like, hey, I shared this. Hey, like this made me think. And people showing up every day to get more of it showed that we were on the right path. And that's all we need. Like once we knew we were on the right path, then we would keep going.
One of the things I love about your answers is you use we a lot.
Yes.